Hello. We are White Fuzzy Bloodbath. We are rock and roll. You probably already know who we are because we've played your city or town. But if you don't know who we are, you will.
Hello everyone, I am Matthew Thomas. This is Super Cool Radio. My guests this time making their second appearance here on a Super Cool Radio. It's been over a year since I've had them on the show. Coming up very soon, they have a new album entitled Medicine that will be released on June 11th. Please welcome from the Bay Area, a high energy stoner rock and roll band with hints of doom and black metal. They are White Fuzzy Bloodbath.
Yes, we are.
Hell yeah.
Yes, we are.
Thanks for having us back, buddy.
Of course, and making up White Fuzzy Bloodbath with me at this time, we have Jeff on drums and Elise, or Little Jeff, on bass and vocals.
That's me.
It's great to have you guys on again. I had a great time interviewing you guys, and I can't believe it's been over a year since I've had White Fuzzy Bloodbath on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't really seem that long, but here we are.
You've had us musically on the show, just not live in the flesh. Or video cameraed in the flesh.
Video cameraed in the flesh.
Yes.
Live and in the digital.
There you go.
Yes.
I know you guys have been very busy for the last 12 months. You've released an EP. You have a new album coming out. You're playing some killer shows. So before we really talk about everything you guys got going on, I did want to talk about the Live at EarthTone Recording Company EP you guys released. How was it writing and recording the EP?
So that was super cool. Like those are literally the first 3 songs we wrote together as a group. We kind of started like sharing songs and ideas and stuff and did a little work in home studios. We didn't even get a practice studio until like the second week of March. And then like a month later, we were in the studio. So it was a crazy whirlwind. And like, I feel like we were all like really nervous and we just went in and we just killed it. And it was awesome. So,
yeah, I think we had 6 practices before.
6 or 7, something like that. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we had just finished writing the last song when we went in to record it. It was like we finished it 2 weeks beforehand. So, but you know, we're all professionals, so we were able to bang it out and come up with some good shit.
Definitely right on. I definitely agree with that. But for like you guys, how was it like writing the first songs as a group? Did you guys like click, or was there like did you have to like feel some stuff out, or how was it for you guys?
Oh yeah, it was just like super seamless. I mean, when we started getting this all together, we were all living in very different areas. Like I was living in a trailer in Paradise, California, and Jeff was in the Bay Area and Alex was in North Bay. So we weren't even living together. So literally like one of us would like take our phones and like record what we did and be like, hey guys, what do you think of this? So a lot of it was just us recording and then sending it to each other. And then like very limited practices because we didn't have our own space for a really long time. So it was just like, you know, I've worked with Jeff for many years and then like I've worked with Alex for many years and it was just super seamless, just clicked.
Yeah, everything just really clicked together very quickly and in the studio as well. So Yeah, it was actually great. We did, I think, 3 or 4 takes of each song, but when we got back into the studio and listened to them back, we ended up taking the first take of each song, which that's never happened before.
Yeah.
So
and Jeff had a bliss attack.
I did. I had a total meltdown. Like, it would have been a really hard year for me, and like it was just to hear what we had accomplished in just like 6 practices. Like my brain broke.
Like we were at the studio listening to him back, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" He's like, "I didn't expect it to be this amazing."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh god, we gotta calm down Jeff because he still has to do vocals."
Yeah. No, I legit had like that's like a happy panic attack. It's like it was a full-on panic attack, but like in a positive way. It's called a bliss attack. So yeah, which is what we consequently hope everybody has when they listen to the new record.
Yeah. Get ready for your bliss attacks, people.
That's right. Get your, I don't remember what that medication was, but
Edibles.
yeah, get your edibles.
Seeing that I live in Indiana, those are not legal for me. But if you are in a state that's legal, go for it.
Bummer.
I have to legally say that. But it is really cool, like just having the emotions, like especially like listening back to something you've accomplished. I've only had that once in my lifetime. That happened last year, but I can definitely relate to that because it is a lot of emotion, especially when you work hard at something to actually hear it back.
There's really nothing like it, and it's really incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like super special too because like you already know how the song is gonna go. Like you already know because we've been practicing, but it's unexpected when you hear it back and it just blows you away. You're like, holy shit. So that was really special.
It's also cool because like you can hear, you know, when you're all in the studio and it's just a wall of sound. Like I can't hear her bass lines really. I know that she's there, but like, you know, I'm playing drums and shit, so I'm not really paying attention to what anybody else is doing. And then when you able to sit down and listen to the whole thing, it's like, oh, that solo is awesome, or that bass line is great, or, you know. And I've had other projects in the past where it wasn't like, that sounds great. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And it was like the same thing I've been doing for the last year. It's like, well, it doesn't work now. And so we didn't have any of that, though. It was super smooth. It was awesome.
Well, I'm really glad to hear it was a very positive experience for you guys. But it is like sometimes you can't like hear everything that's going on until like you hear the finished product and it sounds different than like how you experienced it while recording. So actually to have that and have such a great experience while doing it, I'm very happy for you guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did want to talk about, before we talk about Medicine, so one of the songs I believe, actually this is on Medicine I believe too, Bebop Lives. It's got a little bit of an interesting background. What's the story behind that song?
Yeah. Do you mean the story of how it originated or the story of its lyrics? Or both?
About both.
Okay, cool. So 2 things. Help me. 2 things. Yep. Okay, so the story of how it originated actually is, so I had been in this band called Heavy Apparatus, which is a super sick band. Like, you should totally check them out. But anyway, one of the songs was called Telling Flies, and it was like almost a completely different song. And I asked permission to Charlie. I was like, hey, like, is it cool if I revamp these lyrics? Because I totally envision a different storyline with this song when I was part of that band. And he was like, yeah, totally. So I rewrote it, and we can go into the storyline. But then after I departed ways with that band, you know, that song really spoke to me, especially because I had adjusted it. And so I talked to Charlie again. I was like, hey, listen, like, I really liked those lyrics I wrote. Is it cool if I do basically like a Beep-Bop 2.0, you know? And he's like, yeah, totally. That's great. So Alex and Jeff never heard the original Beep-Bop, which had been Telling Flies. I basically created a new song and put my lyrics over it, but we still wanted to pay homage to Bebop Lives, or Beep-Bop. So, so, you know, that's how it came to be. That's the new song.
That's the first song we wrote together too.
Yeah. So the storyline is basically, okay, so it's a robot, right? And his name is Beep-Bop. And he's kind of like having an identity crisis. And all these people are telling him things like, oh, but you can't think like that. No, you can't act that way. And he's like, but that's what I'm thinking and that's what I'm acting like. And, you know, that's how it is for me. And I think that that also is very similar to how are, you know, people kind of like want to put humans in a glass jar and make them feel or think a certain way. So it's kind of that story, but into a relatable, loving robot who's also really scary.
It's kind of an allegory for the human experience played by a crazy robot.
Yeah. Poor Beep-Bop.
Of course, he's only crazy because the people make him crazy.
Right. Exactly. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed that one. That's my favorite off the live EarthTone recording EP. Because I really like, because I definitely felt the connection with like the song, you know, and the storyline in it, because it did feel like very relatable. Because I know a lot of people at least have told me like, if you're doing this, you gotta look like this, you have to act like this. You know, people told me to dye my hair to stand out more, and it just not the stuff that I wanted to do. Like with what I was.
Yeah. Like screw those people.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, whatever. This is 2022. Screw them.
Yes. But I think the whole, like, just the recording of it and coming up with the song. So like for you, like obviously the original Bebop was big inspiration for you. So how was it like writing Bebop Lives as like a sequel to Bebop?
Oh yeah, that was very interesting, right? So this is my writing process, because with Beep-Bop Lives, we do this thing called like pitching. Like some of the guys will like come up with something and they pitch it. They're like, oh, hey, like, what do you think of this? Like, I'll write something and I'll say, hey, what do you think of this? And it's really just the skeleton. And then all three of us will put the meat on and the bone and like the skin and create the whole song. So with recreating it, it was very interesting. And this is my writing process is I literally get into the car and I just zone out and I just drive. And sometimes I'll listen to other tracks from other artists, but I will literally just like zone out. And then I'll turn everything off and I'll be in silence and I'll just kind of think the same thing. I'll be like, okay, here's the tune. Okay, here's the lyrics. And then I'll zone out and my brain literally just creates it. So I was focusing on the lyrics and then the rest came to it and it just became a completely new song. And then I came back to my trailer and I got my phone and I was like, okay, here's the parts, blah, 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 and I sang it. I sang the song and I sent it to them. And then I think I did an acoustic too with my bass part.
Yeah.
And then I sent it.
And when they oftentimes they kind of put the stuff together, or she'll put an idea together, she'll get to Alex will write a guitar part to it. And then what I really try to do, my approach is really just give the song what it needs, give it the beat that it needs, and give it the movement that it needs, and really not much else. I mean, if you've heard what I do, like I'm not particularly flashy, but everything that I do has a spot in the music. And I don't try to overplay or underplay. I try to, really find that pocket.
Yeah.
So for that one, yeah, I just really just listen to the guitar parts and the bass parts over and over again. And usually I'll come up with a couple of ideas. And then when we actually sit down and workshop, it'll be like, I can see this going two ways. And then I play way one, and then I play way two, and then we talk, kind of build it from there. So.
Yeah, I don't know how he drums. I'm glad he's the drummer because I don't know how to do it.
And that's why he's here. That's why he's part of the band.
Yes.
For you, Jeff, I would say like you're effective and you're very functional with your drumming. That's the way I would describe it.
That's the goal, yeah.
But I do want to talk about, since I did mention the intro, I mentioned it a few times even leading up to this. So brand new album, Medicine, drops on June 11th.
Yes, it does.
Because
dropping.
That's right. And because I am me, I've had the opportunity to check it out and listen to it. So before I really talk about my stuff and what I have, but how was it for you guys? I know we already talked a little bit about your writing process for the EP. How was it writing this album? And since it's like the first album with this current lineup.
It was pretty crazy because we've been so busy playing all these shows and stuff. It's like, okay, we got to focus on getting ready for this show. So we're going to practice and we run the sets. And then it's like, maybe we've got a little bit of time and brain power left at the end. And we'll kind of like put together half of the song. And then the next time we record all of our practices so that when we ever jam or anything like that, we don't have to rely on memory because it doesn't work. So we just kind of, we really actually didn't start really writing and focusing on writing until, January?
Yeah, really sitting down and combing through it January, because we had the majority of it done, because just here and there we're like, ooh, that's awesome, ooh, that song is killer, but then you want to make the album flow in a certain way. So some songs we didn't use, and some songs we literally wrote for the album. So yeah, I'd say January is when we really started focusing on it.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I really like I don't really know how to describe your guys' style. I just call it the White Fuzzy Bloodbath style. Because
nice.
I don't really hear too many bands with just that different style, because I know you guys are only there's only 3 members to the band, but you guys make it sound bigger than just there's 3 members performing this music.
Hell yeah, that's the goal.
Put the power in Power Trio.
Hell yeah, 3 members, that's it. Not too many heads. 3 is enough.
Especially when you got heads like this.
Yeah.
But for you guys, so I know when I've talked to bands, either right around release time for an album, they say sometimes that the hardest part is making the song list of what sounds good, the flow of the album, as you were talking about. How is it for you guys?
I think we kind of came up with it organically just while playing shows and just kind of seeing some of the songs just kind of naturally flow together because Alex uses a certain guitar for that part. Yeah, we just kind of workshopped together a set list, and we like the way this song flows into this song and this song flows in that one. So while we may not necessarily have played all of the songs through in a single set until recently, we kind of had an idea of what would flow into what, and that's kind of how that built out.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error through the shows, because you really understand what works and what doesn't through watching the audience, and if they're just going totally bananas when the next song hits. So if they're just going crazy, you're like, okay, that worked, that flow worked.
Yeah, you get good transitions, and as you can see in the beginning, it kind of the songs kind of flow into each other. Bleh.
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 We're good at writing music, but sentences.
Talking, not so much.
No.
I just hit things with sticks.
Heard words are overrated, so it's all right.
That's right.
But yeah, to get the live reaction feedback from from crowds from playing music. Actually, that's the first time during the interview a band you guys have actually said that, but that makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah,
because you actually get to see in person right away how someone's going to react to hearing this song.
And that's kind of how we figured out what we wanted to put on the album too, because we write a song and it sounds awesome to us, but if we play it and it's a total dud and no one really gives a shit, then maybe we'll workshop it again. But everyone's really gone nuts over the song, so we're super excited about it.
Definitely. Again, I really love the album just because it's different from the music I listen to, and I say that in the nicest way because I really enjoy it. It's a trip. The whole album is seriously a trip.
Good. So happy to hear that, because that's like what we want.
Yeah.
We want to be that extra element. We want to be the missing link between rock and metal. Like, we want to be heavy, but we're a good time. Like, that's what we want.
There's a rap group from Wisconsin that I really like called The Crust, and they have a song called Evil You Can Dance To. And that really kind of
that's amazing.
perfectly describes our album. So and our sound. So it's kind of the new when people ask me what we sound like, I say it's evil you can.
That's sick.
That's great.
We should use that from going forward.
I think we should.
You definitely should. That is a perfect way to describe White Fuzzy Bloodbath. And I know currently out right now, people get a little bit of taste of what the album is. Still, you guys released that as the single for the album. And I do want to talk about that. So specifically for Still, how was it developing that song?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So that was actually one of the songs that we were like, should we put that one in? Should we use a different one? And I'm so glad that we decided to put that one in. Alex is the one that pitched that one, actually.
Yeah.
He was like, hey guys, I got this riff. And we're like, that's it. That's the one. And then, me and Alex and Jeff like worked it all together.
That one came together real fast too.
Yes.
Like, we all just kind of knew what we wanted. Even that weird ass bridge part with like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like kind of a swing sort of song kind of feel in the middle, but there's like the before and after of the bridge is like some of the heaviest riffs we've ever played. So it's pretty wild.
I find that the things that are the most organic and like your first or second take, that's where the feeling is and that's where the energy is. Because I think we did Still. I think we wrote that like 4 practices and then we just polished it the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So super quick. But yeah, that one crushes. It's like one of the new ones that we have. It totally shows the element of who we are. Like it's killer.
It's weird, it's wild, it's fast, it's fun. Yep.
And I think that's what I really like about you guys, like the music, is because I never know what to expect. Like just even in the span of like 30 to 60 seconds, I don't know what's going to even happen in that short of time frame with you guys. I think that's what I really like about.
Oh, dude, that just gave me chills. That's so awesome. That's cool.
We like to play tricks and confuse and play with the listeners' ears.
That's like one of my favorite things about going on stage when there's, like a handful of people who don't know us. They're just like there. And they're like, oh, this like chick, like on the bass, whatever. And then I'm like, ah! And they're like, oh my God. Like, I just love the element of surprise. I really do.
Yeah, it's super fun to surprise people with what we bring, especially if they've heard us before. But even like people that have been listening to us for a while, just dropping a new song,
Totally.
Yeah, definitely. Elise, I really enjoy. You had very intense screams in the music, and I really dig that.
Thank you. Yep, it's what's inside me.
Yes.
It's especially funny when we're playing in front of people who are like, holy shit, where did that come from?
It is always like I know some people kind of base like how like music, just based what the music's going to be based off how people look or act and stuff like that. But I don't do that because you never know exactly like what they're capable of, and I always like to be surprised.
Yeah.
So obviously, on June 11th, Medicine will be released, but also on June 11th, you guys got a album release show for Medicine at the Caravan Lounge, San Jose. What can people expect from this album release show?
So they can expect a wild ride because we've got this awesome ska band called La Maldita Cruda from San Jose coming in to to open the show, and then we've got these friends in a band called I Have Aquila. Aquila.
I have Aquila.
Aquila, thank you, Aquila. I always want to say Aquila.
Yeah, we always want to say Aquila like tequila.
I have Aquila.
But it's Aquila.
They're from Merced, and they brought us out to one of their favorite places to play, and we had a great time and really, really enjoyed those guys musically. So we're bringing them to San Jose with us, and everyone can hear how awesome they are, and then we're going to close out the night. So it's going to be an awesome, awesome show.
Yeah, and we're playing the album front to back.
In order?
Yep, in order.
Nice.
Yep.
Honestly, I've been to a couple shows where a band has done that, and honestly, I think it's one of the coolest experiences, especially like as solid an album as Medicine is. That sounds like an awesome time.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I wish you could fly out here and be here for this one.
I do wish I could be there, yes. I definitely do.
But it's okay. It's okay.
It's slightly far away. Just slightly.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
This is going to be a really cool show because, like what Jeff said, we're doing it with a bunch of our friends. And also, the Caravan is one of those venues that really helped bring us up when we were a baby band. Like when we were first starting out, they always like put us on good shows. They like knew what bands we'd work well with. They're such a cool venue, and they treat bands really well. So we really want to like, you know, throw it to them. And like literally this show might sell out. It's a smaller venue. We've kind of outgrown this size of a venue. So like, obviously we want to pack house and do well with the Caravan and give them, you know, the money that they deserve because they totally helped us when we needed it. So it's just going to be a really good time. And I'm just like super hoping that this thing is sold out. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've been there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has. The last time we were there was 2017.
Yeah.
So like,
Yes.
yeah. So it's like everybody's super stoked. Obviously, the Caravan's really excited for us to be back there. We've been playing bigger venues, so it's just really good to kind of go back to our roots. And like I'm saying, I think this is going to sell out, and if not, near to, because the last show that we played, or one of the last shows we played, my birthday show, we almost sold out. So like this place is a little bit smaller. I really hope that people are just like trying to climb through the windows getting in.
I hope you guys have a really great show. If anyone listening to this is interested, an event link will be in the description for it as well. I do hope you guys, it's a sold out show and you guys have a great time. It's going to be a huge party. That's what I think.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
So for you guys, obviously, so coming back to this venue, you know, you said a little bit of smaller venue, coming back after 5 years. How are you guys going to prepare for this show? Anything do anything a little different, or are you just going to show up and rock some faces?
Show up and rock some faces, man. We already got this dialed in.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty much fresh out of the studio, so we're as dialed as we've ever been. It's awesome.
Yeah, and like we've been able to grow because of all of these successes, especially in the last year. I mean, we have Ben now, who is our manager, so he really, you know, he helps get the show ready, and then we have a crew too. We have like 3 to 5 people depending on their availability. So like we literally have a merchandise person. We have a stagehand. So all we do is show up and rock out and have fun. It's incredible, and we're so like lucky and honored to be at this place where now we have a really cool manager and crew members to help us along this ride.
Don't have to worry about me throwing up my back, pulling in an amp right before the show or anything like that. It's real nice.
Jeff, I'm very, very happy for you guys. As I've interviewed you guys a year ago and seen your progression, even just for, like within the last year. You guys obviously you got a manager, you got some crew to help you out, and just seeing the progression, it makes me really happy for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I do gotta ask, last thing I want to talk about, at least on the live show side, what is your favorite song to perform live?
Ooh, that's a tough one. For
Man.
me, probably Medicine. That one is just that one is like kind of the epitome of the White Fuzzy Bloodbath roller coaster ride. You know, it kind of starts out kind of melancholy, and then we come in and Elise channels her inner demon.
Yeah.
And that one just has a really nice build to it. And then we have that crazy outro at the end where people just go ballistic. And I'm very, very tired at the end of that one, but I really like to play it.
I'm shocked to hear that.
You know, Jeff, I'd have to agree with you actually, because going through the set, because we have to play Medicine last, because it does have that big climax to it, but also it literally tires us out and we're like, okay, that's it. But I agree with you, because every song I go through, I'm like, that was cool, or that felt really good, and then I'm like, this one's my favorite. But then I think you're right, like towards when I get to Medicine, that's like the epitome of everything. So Medicine is definitely by far right now my favorite to perform.
And it's the title track of the album, as it turns out.
Yes, it is.
Yes, what a coincidence. But it just seemed like the live footage of you guys from like your shows, you guys bring so much energy to the stage. It's like even just watching through video, I can feel the energy.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd say probably the rule of thumb that's been happening lately is every show we've been playing, we've been doubling. So people who watch us come to the next one. And that's a really good sign. And we also have a Patreon now. So we have a super exclusive club called the Bathheads Club. And that skyrocketed recently with all these shows. So it's just really cool to like see people coming back and people like, you know, wearing their little club member pins, and it just shows like, oh, cool, we're doing something right. Like we're making people like feel something, and people actually like enjoy raging with us. And I think especially after the pandemic, where people just want to scream and go crazy, like this is perfect, you know?
Definitely. I like my first like big show back after the pandemic. It was Everclear, Living Color, the Hoovastank, and Wheatus, which is a very random lineup, by the way.
But it's a little weird, but awesome.
Yeah, but Living Color threw down. I just want to say that. But
I'm sure they did.
Even for like the opening bands, like the crowd was actually like everybody was just getting into the music. I was kind of surprised, you know, not to knock the Hoovastank, but I was kind of surprised, but also very happy that like, you know, people, I think they missed, you know, the live shows so much, and I think maybe took it for granted just a little bit. So now that everything's kind of back in full swing, I think people are like, we better enjoy this because we don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, exactly. Super grateful for live events like that.
Exactly, and I'm glad I just went to 2 shows this weekend, so I'm glad we got, you know, live music back, and honestly, I'm enjoying every minute of it again because you just never know.
Yeah, totally.
So now for you guys, I have a challenging question that I've added for this season. I know a lot of bands do struggle with it, but I think it's a question I think I need to ask. What is your favorite moment from White Fuzzy Bloodbath so far?
Oh God. What's my favorite moment? I have a good recent favorite moment.
Okay.
Because I don't know if it's like the favorite moment, but recent. So at Urbani's Cellars, which was the last show that we played, I looked out into the crowd and I saw like a handful of people singing the lyrics. And I was like, oh my God, it's working. Like people are actually paying attention. This is amazing. And it just like, I like almost forgot to sing the lyric because I was like, oh, I was looking out into the crowd. But that was definitely one of my most recent favorite moments. That was cool.
I think for me, so there's a legendary place called Bottom of the Hill in San Francisco. And then there's this really awesome club in San Jose called the Ritz. And in the 20 plus years that it's 20 years. 20 years now I've been in this music scene. I've always wanted to play both of those places, and I played both of them in the same week with Bath. It was amazing. Yeah, it was like 2 bucket list venues in the same week. It was awesome. So I think I would probably put that as my favorite moment, and then also probably have to go with the Bliss Attack moment.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
Yeah.
No, definitely, and to do like stuff that like is on your bucket list that you don't think or even like it's gonna take a while to get to, or not gonna happen like very almost simultaneously. That's an awesome experience just in its own right. And for Elise, I talked to another musician recently, and she got to perform at a football stadium for her own original music. And
Wow.
she's like, that's almost like the pinnacle for me, because like I got invited because of my original music. So
That's awesome.
It's cool, especially if people like singing the lyrics with you guys. That's awesome. And, you obviously you guys are doing I wouldn't right's not the right word, but you got great music. There we go. That's what that people can connect with, and obviously sing the lyrics back too.
So, yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully that snowball keeps rolling downhill. So.
Right.
I hope for you guys as well. I'm going to leave the Patreon link in the description of this podcast as well for people to check out. Now, I'm really enjoying chatting with you guys, so I'm going to keep you guys probably for just a little bit longer. I do have a wacky question that I modified from somebody, from another podcast I listened to. So for you guys, I think it's a great question. What are 3 things that are guaranteed to be in your fridge?
Okay. Number 1 for me is coffee, for sure. Always need coffee.
There we go. Probably about 27 different kinds of hot sauce.
Oh, that's a good one.
Number 1.
I love hot sauce too. Yes.
Pickles. I like pickles a lot.
Is it fridge only? Because my second would be chocolate, but I keep that in the pantry.
How about just in your kitchen?
In the kitchen. Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Well, if it's in the kitchen, there's going to be cat food for sure, but that's not for me.
Come on, Jeff.
You're sure you're not on My Strange Addiction?
Yeah, right. Micheladas.
Ooh, yeah, micheladas. That's actually in our writer now.
Yeah.
Micheladas. And I don't know. I'm like, okay, so coffee.
Coffee too.
Yeah, coffee. Yeah. Can I say double coffee? Because coffee is like a must for me.
If you say that, then my follow-up question is, how many cups do you drink in a day?
Oh, I only drink 2, but it doesn't take much for me. I'm very tiny. I'm actually sitting on a double stool right now to keep in line with Jeff. Really? Otherwise I'd be much shorter. So it doesn't take much for me.
Yeah, we have to put a phone book on her seat so her feet can reach the pedals and everything.
I have a case that my feet are on right now to sit. Yeah, otherwise it'd be really different.
Well, you guys got some good production, because I wouldn't have known that.
Yes.
Made it look very nice.
Yeah. Ben is amazing. Ben's a professional. He set this up. He's great.
Yeah, I'm 6'5", so.
Oh.
And I'm 5'3".
Yes. Just a little bit of height difference there.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes when people don't know the band, they think that Jeff is the band's security.
They really do. That's pretty funny.
And then he gets behind the drums and they're like, oh, he's the drummer, not security. Okay. Although I will say I do feel very, very safe with Jeff around.
Yeah, he could definitely double as security. As a former security guard for wrestling shows, I think you could definitely pull off security.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrestling, Chaos Creator, the track Chaos Creator, should be the intro to a wrestling match.
Or like a walkout song.
Yes.
That's kind of actually how we wrote it originally, like with that kind of a vision of having that be like a wrestler's entrance music.
Yes.
So if you happen to be a wrestler,
and
you're listening to the show,
if any wrestlers are interested, please contact Ben.
Yes, definitely do. And honestly, now that you say that, it definitely makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, honestly, I'm a huge fan of wrestling too. So I can definitely see that.
for the new album, what did you think about the artwork? And what was your favorite track off of the new album?
Oh, we're asking you the questions now, buddy.
Yeah, now the turntables
have turned.
I was counting how many times this has happened in my interviews because I've done about 240. Definitely not stalling for time, by the way. And this is the fourth time.
I don't believe you.
This is the fourth time this has happened on Super Cool Radio. So, favorite track. I like to say honorable mention to Sabotage because I loved it. But for me, it's either Monster or Still. I will go with Monster.
Ooh, cool.
Wow. Okay.
I like that.
Because I really liked it on EarthTone Recording, the EP, but honestly, I really enjoy it on the album. So
yeah,
I'm going Monster.
Okay.
Sweet.
And artwork. If I describe if I could just show a picture to describe you guys, it would be the artwork.
Here, we can send you the artwork, and this is the artwork. Right
Whatever
here.
you think this sounds like, you're right.
Yeah, that's if I had to describe White Fuzzy Bloodbath, I would just go artwork.
So we had two different artists work on that.
Really?
Yeah. So the bottom with the mountains filled with candy and pills and needles and ice cream and all that. So that's the artist who did the Sugar and Rock artwork.
Okay.
So she's a carryover into this next album. And then the top with the smoke monster is Ryan Case. So the person who did the mountains, her name is Daniela Brady. And then Ryan Case did the smoke monster. And that is the epitome. It shows the progression, because if you listen to Sugar and Rock and then you listen to Medicine and then you're going to listen to probably the next stuff we put out, that is literally the progression in which this music is going.
I think that it is really cool, especially the artwork looks phenomenal. And for you guys, did you kind of give them direction on what the artwork was, or you just said, hey, make something that kind of matches what we're doing?
Yeah, we had this vision of the candy mountainscape with an eruption of complete contrast, like oil on water. So pretty much described it to them, and they did their thing.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to tie in the visuals from the previous album. Hey, we're still the same band, but we're evolving into this other monster. Hey, monster.
Yeah.
See, exactly. I knew my response would be good.
Yes. And that's basically what it was, yeah. So we have this other song called Mountain that's 10.5 minutes long. We're still actually kind of writing it. We had planned to have that on the album, but we kind of realized it was its own separate thing.
It's its own album.
Yeah. But the inspiration of the mountain itself kind of came along with that song, and so that kind of started the visual idea. Okay, well, we're not going to put mountain on this record, but it's still an important visual aspect that we wanted to capture on the artwork.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, it's seeing that how the connection is between Sugar and Rock to Medicine. So now whatever you decide to do with Mountain, it's obviously there's a mountain in Medicine, the artwork. So it all ties in. With everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to a concept album too. It maybe doesn't tell one continuous story, but it's all kind of different interpretations of the same idea of struggling with your identity and how you're perceived and just kind of who you are in the world.
Yeah, a lot of mental focuses, depression, thoughts of suicide, mania, but also bliss attacks and super happiness, just kind of that roller coaster of being human.
I think that's a great way to describe it. Like the whole album. There's, you know, it's kind of different, not stories or, you know, per se, but there's different, you know, obviously styles of music. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Perfect.
I feel what my point is, and people can fill in what my lead-in would have been, is that there's themes woven throughout the whole album. It might not be directly like what the last song was, but it still has some kind of those different themes going on throughout the whole album.
Yeah.
So even me as a host, I still can't think of what I want to say half the time.
Yeah, we're all big fans of concept albums, and I think, you know, maybe at some point we'll do a full one. But in the meantime, this is kind of skirting the line of concept album.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Definitely. Well, I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan, so like you're talking to the right person about concept albums. So now, for you guys, as I'm starting to wrap up this interview, what are the plans for White Fuzzy Bloodbath for the rest of this year? It's June. You got the album coming out. What do you guys have up your sleeve?
So we have a little tour that we're doing in August, week and a half, I think.
Yeah,
week and a half. We're down in the LA area, and then we're traveling back up the coast, and then we are ending in what is it?
Willamette Valley, Oregon.
Yes.
We're playing Fire in the Sky Festival. And it's like a festival focused on women in rock. So they asked us to play, and we're going to be there. Yeah, so anybody in the LA area, our tour launch is also going to be at our boutique in San Jose. We're going down to San Diego. We're going up into Sacramento. Just look it up. Like, you know, we're everywhere. So if you just type in White Fuzzy Bloodbath on Google, go to your platform of choice. We also have a website, whitefuzzybloodbath.com. Like, go there. Like, all of everything we're doing, all the tour dates. So that's what's next after this tour release. I also want to say that people who join the club, the Bathheads Club on Patreon, it's like this super cool club. You get all the new merchandise. You get any music we release. So like all of our Bathheads are getting our album before anybody else getting the album. We also play a lot of like super secret shows. So we're always inviting our Patreons to our super secret shows. You get in on the guest list with a +1 if you come to any show that has ticket sales or whatever. And also like you get to hang out with us before and after the show whenever we have like meet and greets. So it's really cool. So please like sign up and become a part of our club.
Feed the monster.
Yeah, feed the monster. Become a monster with us.
Sound like some really great perks. So definitely check out the links in the description. I will throw in obviously the website, the Patreon link, all the stuff relevant to White Fuzzy Bloodbath, or just Google it because that's a thing too. But please check out Stream Support. Give a like to White Fuzzy Bloodbath. Awesome time hanging out with you guys.
Thanks for having us again, Matthew. This was really fun.
Yeah, always fun to hang out with you, man.
Of course, a lot smoother this time than last time. It didn't take 3 hours to set up the interview, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, well, we went with the professional instead of the jerry-rigged nonsense that I was able to come up with. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben, as well for me. But yeah, please check out Stream Support. Give a like to White Fuzzy Bloodbath. New album, Medicine, drops on June 11th. Make sure to check it out. Check out the links in the description. For Elise and Jeff of White Fuzzy Bloodbath, I'm your host, as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.
Thank you so much.